sign language is another example where there are no spoken words, where there's great communication. But, you know, some people say, well, you're emphasizing, it's not just slang, it's rules embedded in the grammar, in the structure, in the word order, and also violating some of the rules of standing. So I say, let's find out what's inside of Ebonics. That's what I ask my students. Just take a look. I'm not teaching a course, this is just a lecture. Let's look inside and let's see how those rules differ. Let's see how those structures are different. Let's see how the vocabularies are different. You can judge the importance of a concept, linguists have found out, people like Ken Johnson, by counting the number of words that the people in that culture have for the concept. For example, Eskimos, so-called Eskimos, Alaskan Indians, have 27 words for snow. Snow is very important to an Eskimo.
Makes sense.
Hard snow, soft snow, slushy snow, that sort of crispy snow. And if you go down on the Bowery in Manhattan, the Lower East Side, and you ask a wino, an alcoholic, how many words do you have for alcoholic drink? You probably get more words for wine or an alcoholic drink than Eskimos have for snow. It's very, very important. So we have to look at what are the concepts that are important and how do they play out in order to understand PAL, the peer appropriate language. As the great jazz, my friend, he's no longer with us, Cannibal Adderley once said, he says, you know, sometimes you have to speak 2 languages just to survive in America. And you know how that are.
Huh. Let's touch on that for a second. You mentioned the fact that the Eskimos have so many words for snow, and if you were to talk to a wino at the Bowery, that they might have so many words for alcohol.
Mm-hmm.
Is that something that you think Drug Enforcement Administration could be running into when it comes to talking about drugs?
Yes, exactly.
Or is there a fear then that if an Ebonics translator is called in because of the perception and the negative connotation associated with that word specifically, that if we're talking about trials here or something like that, that it'll taint the jury, that it'll have preconceived notions if you bring in what's someone known as an Ebonics translator?
Well, in every system, you have words that have different meanings. Apparently, the DEA can't translate those meanings. Mm-hmm. Very subtle. Not only is it legally frustrating to prosecute these offenders, but there probably is some lack of clarity there, I guess you would call it, that would throw the case out. And so now they're I guess, in answering your question, I think it would be like translating someone, let's say, who speaks another language, like Spanish, or German, or French. You get a translator. What is he saying? And based upon that, perhaps they would be able to build a case against these guys, saying that they were using these particular words. You go back to Prohibition, you get the same thing. Mm-hmm. When alcohol was prohibited, they had all kinds of words for drink. You get the same thing. You see, it's just, in the black experience, it's a question of survival. It's a question of survival, and that's why these words were invented, so-called slang words. And as soon as the mainstream picks it up, guess what they do? They drop it and invent a new one. So it's constantly changing. There's also, that's the spoken side now. On the written side, there's a new language emerging right now among young people. Text messaging that uses invented spelling, symbols, shortened. One 9-year-old admitted that she text messaged 100 people in a day. Now that's a whole, and some schools are beginning to look at that closely to teach them those skills. We have to find ways to try to teach learners from all backgrounds.
Let's look at the fact that the DEA is recognizing Ebonics.
It's recognized, yes.
What does that mean as a language, as a dialect, whatever you want to call it,
Yeah.
for Ebonics, the fact that a government agency is now recognizing it? Do you think it'll be helpful?
Yes, yes. Because there are many people who are assimilated beyond repair and they live in denial. I don't speak this, but that doesn't mean because you don't use it that others don't. There are, as a group of, in communities, it's alive and well. And so the DEA acknowledges that it exists and it's a reality. This is what I've been saying all along. So let's look at it closely and find out what's inside of it. Try to decipher it and understand so that when we teach these kids, they can function in standard English. Because if anyone, and this is where I'm coming from on standard English or mainstream American English, if you think that you can succeed in America without standard English, then you're a fool. The tests, the exams, the entrance requirements, the job applications, the admissions to colleges, all based on test scores, which are written in standard English. Until that changes, and it doesn't seem like it's going to change in the near future, then teachers are obligated to teach these children standard English. And when 2 out of 3 are on the statewide level, the state needs to do something about it.